I see quite a few people in here calling me a duck. I'm a duck. Call me a duck. Call me a chicken. Call me a goat. Call me a dog. I'm not in high school anymore, guys.
So I'm not ducking Tom Aspinall. If I failed to fight Stipe, I would be ducking Stipe because we contractually have been signed up to fight over a year ago. This is Stipe's position. The Tom narrative came out of nowhere. He won a belt and now suddenly I'm ducking him. I've never had negotiations to even fight him, if this makes sense.
People are starting acting surprised. Oh, John's a duck, this, that and the other. John Jones ducked Francis Ngannou for 3 years. Like, don't be surprised that this guy always takes fights where he's at the advantage.
John Jones responded to Tom Aspinall's charges of ducking by vehemently dismissing the claim, stating that he is not avoiding anyone, but just does not consider Aspinall as a serious challenger. On the other hand, Tom Aspinall compared John Jones to a politician since he tries to control what people think. Aspinall added that he has never criticized Jay's legacy, but rather thinks it is outstanding and far superior to his own or most UFC fighters. He made it plain that he has no personal issues with John and values what he has achieved in the sport. The true issue, according to Aspinall, is that John retains the UFC heavyweight belt despite thinking he is currently the best heavyweight in the world.
See, the thing with John is he's a bit like a politician. He likes to control the narrative of what fans think. I have never once come after John's legacy. I think it's unbelievable. I think his legacy is going to be far superior to mine, and most of the guys who are fighting in the UFC never had a problem with his legacy. I've never had a problem with him personally. The problem is he has the heavyweight title and I'm the #1 heavyweight in the world.
Tom Aspinall went on to explain that people should not be shocked that John Jones has been labeled a duck because, in his opinion, Jones dodged fighting Francis Ngannou for 3 years. He added that John frequently chooses battles when he has an advantage and tries to sway public opinion in his favor. Aspinall remarked that this is not a personal attack, but rather the reality. He described Jones as sensitive and cunning, someone who thinks himself the greatest while dismissing Aspinall as a nothing. In response, Aspinall stated that he is ranked first and has beaten 5 of the top 10 heavyweights in the first round, indicating that he is not to be overlooked.
Like, people are starting acting surprised. Oh, John's a duck, this, that and the other. John Jones ducked Francis Ngannou for 3 years. Like, don't be surprised that this guy always takes fights where he's at the advantage. And that's not me getting at John. These are the facts of it. John's a very touchy guy, and he likes to, like I say, he likes to be smart about his approach and control the narrative of fans by saying he's the GOAT, which he's definitely got a case for, by saying that, oh, this guy, Tom Aspinall's a nobody. Well, mate, I'm a nobody who has a #1 ranking and has finished 5 of the top 10 guys in the first round. Like, I'm one of them top 10 guys, so that's 9 guys. 5 of them I've beaten the first round. So there's only 4 guys left in the top 10 who I haven't.
However, John Jones replied to the allegations about him avoiding Tom Aspinall, saying he is not ducking him at all. He stated that failing to fight Stipe Miocic would be deemed ducking, as they signed a contract over a year ago. Jones stated that the chatter regarding Tom came out of nowhere after Aspinall won a belt, and people started claiming he was avoiding him. Jones says that no negotiations for a fight with Aspinall have taken place. He thinks fans are ignoring the facts and simply want to see someone who they believe can finally challenge him, which is why the narrative has gained traction.
Well, I'm not ducking Tom Aspinall. If I failed to fight Stipe, I would be ducking Stipe because we contractually have been signed up to fight over a year ago. This is Stipe's position. The Tom narrative came out of nowhere. He won a belt and now suddenly I'm ducking him. I've never had negotiations to even fight him, if this makes sense. So the fans are just ignoring it. They're ignoring all logic, and they just have finally found someone that they think can compete with me, and everyone wants to see it.
I see quite a few people in here calling me a duck. I'm a duck. Call me a duck. Call me a chicken. Call me a goat. Call me a dog. I'm not in high school anymore, guys. A grown man out here chasing his dreams. It's funny that we really live in a world where being called a duck should affect me. Guys, come on.
Furthermore, in response to fans backing John Jones, Tom Aspinall stated that he has no problem admitting Jones has a far more impressive background. He praised Jay's accomplishments while emphasizing that Jones now holds what he thinks he deserves. Aspinall stated that he wants to show himself as the best heavyweight, and the only way to do it is to face Jones in the octagon. He expressed concern that a champion of John's caliber is unwilling to give others a chance when genuine competition approaches.
I see a lot of touchy fans online being like, well, John's done this superior to... Listen, no arguments that John Jones's resume is far superior to mine, but he has what I deserve, and I want to go and prove that I'm the guy, and that's the only way we can sort it. So I'm challenging him to a fight, and I'm a little bit disappointed that John, as the great champion that he is, doesn't want to give other guys that opportunity when someone's breathing down his neck.
Aspinall emphasized that true champions react when challenged, and if John thinks he is unworthy, he should prove it in the cage. He stated that if he lost, he would not hesitate to shake Jones' hand and admit defeat, but he would have taken the shot. What he finds disheartening is the seeming avoidance and unwillingness to face a genuine problem, something he says he does not respect.
Because that's the first thing that most champions would do, is like, right, this guy wants it, I'm going to put him in his place. And if he thinks I don't deserve it, show me that I don't deserve it. Show me. Sweet, mate. If you kick my ass in front of the whole world, I'm happy to put my hand out and go, listen, you're the better man. No problem. You took my dreams away from me, but at least I tried. But this ducking and diving is something that I don't really have respect.
The trouble started when John Jones disregarded Tom Aspinall as a credible competitor, pointing out that Aspinall had never defeated any former or current champions. Aspinall responded boldly, suggesting that Jones is avoiding him because he sees the fight as a threat to his legacy and wants to protect his unblemished heavyweight record.
And of course, it's been pretty interesting, all the stuff that John Jones has been saying to the media this week, and I'm sure there's more to come, but check out these.
You're beating guys who aren't even champions, and you consider yourself a champion. He's not a champion.
So John said I need to fight more champions, but this is the problem I've got. John is the champion, and he won't fight me. And he says that he won't fight me because it's too much of a gamble.
Aspinall to me is no difference than an Owen St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith, being like just another up-and-comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And John, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared of losing again.
However, John Jones described Tom Aspinall as annoying and admitted that he does not like his demeanor. Though he recognized that their fight would be a big deal, Jones made it clear that if he was going to fight Aspinall, the financial offer had to be substantial. He explained that he already has a good life and does not need to struggle, whereas Aspinall does, which he thinks gives him an advantage in any future discussions.
He's annoying to me. He's annoying to me. And that's my own personal, he annoys me. I get to you guys, you find it entertaining, but I find him annoying. And I just don't like him. And at the end of the day, if I give him the opportunity to fight me, I want to be so compensated. I want to say, I want that few money, honestly. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Or else, my life is perfect without him. I don't need him at all, and he needs me. And that's a good place to be in a negotiation.
Daniel Cormier made it clear that John Jones has no fear of Tom Aspinall or any other opponent, emphatically dismissing the idea. He thinks Jones is simply being wise and strategic, focused on maintaining his legacy rather than avoiding difficult matches. Cormier said that, while many fighters finally pass the torch to the next generation, Jones may choose to retire on his own terms. Still, he noted that taking on Aspinall, even if it carries some danger, would not harm Jones' legacy given what he has previously achieved in the sport.
John Jones isn't afraid of Tom Aspinall. I wish people would stop saying that. He is not afraid of that guy. He's not afraid of anyone. He's not afraid to fight this guy. He's not. I think he's trying to be more strategic. I think he's trying to make sure his legacy stands. I don't know how it could ever be faded. I mean, we do have short memories, but could you ever forget what he did? I don't think him fighting Tom Aspinall with the potential that he would lose is a bad thing. But as most would expect him to win the fight. But at the end of the day, the old guard has to get passed through for the new guard to go, unless you don't play the sport by the way that everyone else does it. Everyone else does it that way. Maybe Jones will be different.
Frank Mir had a similar opinion, hailing Tom Aspinall as a gifted heavyweight with a promising future. At the same time, he supported Jon Jones against accusations that he is avoiding the fight, claiming that Jones has earned the right to be selective after facing top-tier competition throughout his career. The Mirror told fans of Jones' long-standing domination in the sport, while recognizing Aspinall's quickness and hitting as a real threat. He thinks that if Jones can close the distance and turn it into a physical war, he will still pick Jones to win.
I think Aspinall's a phenomenal heavyweight. I think he's going to be there for a while. With Jon, it's hard for me to tell people. The guy has earned so much. I feel like sometimes people have such a short memory in our sport. The guy has been one of the most dominant fighters of all time. If he wants to pick and choose who he fights, at a certain point, he kind of earned the right to. But, he faces criticism, I guess, from other people. But as far as what settles in my stomach, well, I get because look how people are short memory with him right now. Oh, he's not the GOAT and he's dodging Tom. Like, man, this guy fought everybody. I don't count him out in a fight with Aspinall. I've trained with Jon. I know how he feels when he grabs a hold of you. I think Tom's hands could really be the X factor if we can catch him or not. Tom's striking is more powerful than a lot of the people, and speed-wise in Jon's face. If Jon grabs him, though, I'm betting on Jon.
Rampage Jackson expressed his admiration for Jon Jones, claiming he does not think anyone is capable of defeating him. Rampage admitted that despite being in peak physical condition, he was unable to beat Jones in their previous encounters. Although he sees Tom Aspinall as a legitimate threat with hazardous abilities, he does not consider him a big threat to Jones. Rampage also mentioned hearing that Jones plans to spend 6 months researching Aspinall's approach prior to a potential showdown. He lauded Jones' brilliance in the cage, referring to him as the Neo of MMA due to his unrivaled ability to manage and mold the course of a fight.
You fought Jon Jones back in the day. People are
why you only bringing up my losses?
People are all talking about Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. How do you see that fight going? You got Tom or you got Jon?
Man, I don't think there's nobody on this planet that can beat Jon Jones, because I was in there with him. I was at my best, and I've never lost a fight at my best until Jon Jones. And no disrespect to Tom Aspinall, but he a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? I think he's probably second best out there, but I don't see him.
You think Jon Jones finishes him?
I think Jon Jones is just a real smart fighter. I heard something like he want to take 6 months before he fight Aspinall. I think it's because he want to study him. He want to break him down. Right. Jon Jones ain't no fool. He's probably one of the smartest fighters out there. I say he like Neo. He's Neo.
George St. Pierre also discussed Jon Jones' legacy, calling him possibly the most dominant character in MMA history. He stated that if the sport needed one fighter to represent it in a one-on-one match, Jones would be his pick. While St. Pierre fully respects Jones' greatness, he also stated that no athlete can outrun the natural decline that happens with age.
Jon Jones, it's probably the best fighter that ever lives. Talk about if I have to choose someone in his prime that I put in the Coliseum hand to hand, I think it would be Jon Jones. It's hard to deny that.
On the other hand, Covington attacked Jon Jones, accusing him of avoiding stiff opponents like Tom Aspinall. He contended that Jones selects opponents over whom he has a clear advantage rather than confronting real threats. Covington noted that Jones avoided Francis and Gain for years and is now doing the same with Aspinall, choosing instead to fight an older, past his prime Stipe Miocic. He didn't hold back, calling Jones a coward and a cheat, and blasting what he views as a regular pattern of avoiding the most tough difficulties.
Dude, Jon Jones is an absolute disgrace to this earth. He's a joke. I mean, yeah, you beat Stipe. Respect to Stipe first off, because he's a first responder and he puts his life on the line for the people and for his community. So shout out to Stipe. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time, but he was past his time. He shouldn't even have been there, man. He knows he was old and he was just showing up for a paycheck. That's not the Stipe of old. that was in his prime anymore. So, you know, I don't think anything special with that performance. I think John needs to stop ducking Tom Aspinall, just like he ducked Nagano. You know, he ducked Nagano for years. Now he's ducking Aspinall. So he doesn't want to fight the guys he knows he's getting his ass whooped against. So I don't think anything special.
Tom Aspinall also gave his honest assessment of Jon Jones, admitting that while Jones is regarded as one of the best fighters of all time, he does not consider him the finest. Aspinall pointed out that Jones had failed many drug tests, which he thinks is enough to disqualify him from the greatest debate of all time. He accused Jones of cheating by utilizing performance-enhancing drugs, underlining how unfair it is, especially when fighting against clean fighters. Although Aspinall stated that he does not think Jones used steroids, he does believe that any type of PD use is cheating.
Is he the greatest?
Potentially, but the way that I look at it, he has failed a couple of drug tests. To me, that rules you out of being the best of all time.
Really?
For me personally, yeah, I think.
Does it make him a cheat?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah. If you're on steroids or whatever, I don't think he was on steroids, but he was on PEDs, performance enhancing drugs. If you're on PEDs and your opponent isn't, that's absolute.
However, UFC welterweight champion Bal Muhammad thinks Tom Aspinall will be Jon Jones' most difficult job. Yet, citing Aspinall's strength and speed as crucial characteristics of the next generation of fighters. While Muhammad thinks Jones would still win, he said that the bout would only make sense if the financial benefits were large. He expects Dana White to push for the fight because of the potential for a large paycheck, but Jones, who has already established his legacy, would likely choose a bout with Alex Pereira unless the reward for confronting Aspinall is between $30 and $50 million.
Jon Jones, like a lot of people consider him the GOAT, the best fighter ever do it. The next hungry lion is Aspinall. It's probably the toughest fight that he'll have. Like this guy's the next generation. He's a lot stronger, a lot faster. But I think Jon Jones is good enough to beat him. But it's like it has to be worth it. The fans are fickle, right? You lose one fight, they're gonna, he sucks. Right? They just care about your last win or your last loss. I think Dana White and them will end up making it. Dana White's a smart businessman. He knows how much money that fight would make. If I'm Jon Jones, you've already done everything in the sport. It's not worth it unless it's that $30 million, $50 million payday. If I'm Jon Jones, I'm picking out Pereira first over Aspinall.
Eddie Hall expressed confidence that Tom Aspinall would defeat Jon Jones if they ever met in the octagon, while respecting Jones' legendary position in MMA. Hall stated that Aspinall's talent, quickness, and potential would give him the edge in the battle.
Jon Jones or Tom Aspinall. So if you don't know MMA world, sorry to bore you, but Tom Aspinall is the UFC's #1 right now. Jon Jones is, he's seen as the best MMA fighter on the planet. Dana White's got a massive for him, says he's unbeatable. Honestly, I think if you put Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall in a room and said one man leaves, I think Tom Aspinall leaves that room. I genuinely do. I think Jon Jones, I can't bad him out of the guy. He's got an amazing record, but he's definitely ducking Tom Aspinall, 100%. And I think he's even said he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall after his next fight. He's pretty much going to retire after this fight, so he's ducking Tom Aspinall.
Hall also chastised Jones for appearing to avoid the contest, suggesting that his hesitancy reflects fear. He highlighted that actions speak louder than words and was certain that Aspinall would win if the battle took place.
I mean, he can say what he wants, but actions speak louder than words. So, there we go. Anyway, the answer to that question is Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is kicking Jon Jones.
However, Paddy Pimblett called the likely fight between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall a must-see event. He stated his support for Aspinall and hoped he would win. Pimblett noticed Jones' extraordinary fighting acumen and tactical prowess. He stated that it is difficult to bet against Jones due to his vast expertise and smart approach to fighting, making the battle even more interesting.
You think the Aspinall-Jones fight happens?
It's got to happen. I was sitting next to Tom the other week at the UFC in London and talking to him about it.
How do you think that plays out if they fight?
I'll be honest, Tom's a friend. I love Tom. He's one of the coolest dudes in the whole of MMA. Even though Jones is getting old, I just can't pick against Jon Jones. The one thing I do think Jon Jones has got the best in the world and the best ever is his fight IQ. He has a perfect game plan to beat that person. As much as I love Tom and I want Tom to win, I couldn't pick against Jon Jones. It's just something I couldn't do.
So, what are your thoughts about this? Share your views in the comments box, and please subscribe and like if you appreciated it.